What is going on, Skullbrains? Welcome to another episode of Skullbrain TV, and this is your ancestral challenge for book number 5, if you choose to accept it. But first, let's go over the ancestral challenge for book number 4. How did you go? Were you able to find Shumi and Shubi? They got stuck in the cobweb wood, and only appeared here on the inside cover on the page with the prophecy. Now, how did you go with finding Jarut's mask? Were you able to see it? It was hidden away here on page 51, carved into this stone wall. And how did you go finding the Life Force pod? It was on the very last page, page 64, hidden here on the cliff face. Were you able to find it? Now, as for the Monsters and Magic challenge, if you guessed that Mirror the Magician was based on Medusa, you were correct. Actually, I just noticed in the back of this book, they call Mirror the Magician by the name of a villain in an upcoming issue. So I think trying to find typos in these books is a challenge all in its own. But let's get onto the challenge for book number 5. So, in this issue, we're going to be looking again for Shumi and Shubi, and there's going to be 2 fragments of the Evil One's mask to try and find. Now, as for the Monsters and Magic challenge, have a listen to these 2 cards and see if you can guess who the villain in book number 5 is based on. First up, we have the Lightning Bird, and this bird comes from southern Africa. On a bird with awesome powers. Great is the might of the sorcerer, who can get help from the terrifying lightning bird. The creature is huge and its power truly awesome. Its long, sharp talons are the color of dried blood. With every flap of its enormous wings, it makes thunder roll, deafening everyone around. Its large hooked beak is its greatest weapon, for whenever the monstrous bird spits, it produces enormous streaks of forked lightning. Although the lightning bird can attack anyone or anything it chooses, it is easily tamed by the wiles of a witch. Then it becomes truly dangerous, as the sorceress uses the bird's power to bring doom to her human victims. The lightning bird rises high in the sky on its mighty wings and picks out the victim's home and fields. It spits out a bolt that sets the house ablaze and strikes dead all the people who dwell there. Sometimes it chars the ground around the house with a kick of its great talons. Then it lays a smooth, white egg on the blackened earth. Almost immediately, the egg disappears into the ground. The egg starts rolling towards the nearest river and falls into the water. Soon afterwards, the egg becomes enormous and rises to the surface. It cracks open with a loud noise, and out of the shell flies a new, terrifying lightning bird. Okay. Now, the next creature we have is called the Stymphalian bird, and its origins are from ancient Greece. On the bird that shoots deadly feathers, from the sky can come treacherous creatures. Such are the Stymphalian birds. They look like slender ibises, but they are vicious hunters. Each bird is armed with weapons made out of the strongest brass. It has claws as sharp as razors, and its beak is so powerful that it can easily go through a soldier's metal breastplate. Worst of all are the bird's wing feathers, which it can shoot at its prey like arrows. The bird strafes at its victim and pierces its skull before swooping down to feast on its flesh. A king once challenged the great hero Hercules to rid his country of the dreadful creatures. Hercules travelled to the faraway marshes where the birds lived. He fired great salvos of arrows at them, but the birds were so nimble that he could not take aim. When they saw that Hercules was armed, the birds withdrew deep into their boggy domain, for they always fled from anyone who might shoot them. Hercules waded in to follow them. The water closed around him like quicksand, sucking him in. Hercules struggled back to the shore. He had not even got near the cruel birds. Trickery gave Hercules the solution. He knew that wild animals fear fire, but he could not set the damp marshes ablaze. He started whirling a huge brass rattle above his head. The harsh crackle sounded just like an enormous forest fire. The birds started flying in all directions. Then they disappeared towards the horizon, never to return. And that is the Monsters and Magic challenge for this issue. Now, also in this issue, we're given a clue as to which pod our heroes recovered in the last book. So in the pinned comment below, you'll find a link where you can download a card that has the name of every single pod that belongs in the ancestral world. So as you're watching the episode, have a listen and see if you can pick up on which pod it is. Also in the pinned comment below, you'll find a link where you can download the Monster and Magic cards that I just read. You can print them, cut them out, and keep them safe in Morbane's folder that I gave you in book number 4. Also, you'll find a link where you can download the 3 letter tokens that came with this issue, collect them, and once we have all 26, we're going to be given a clue that will help us rearrange them into a phrase that will give us a hint on how to destroy the evil one's power. So, see how you go with those. Thanks for watching this episode of Skullbrain TV. Stay tuned for the next episode, and as always, stay skullbrained.